We
this
wouldn't.
This is the kind of comment I'm talking about. Terry pretends to be fair, but he has an anti-City agenda. So on this stream, I have praised that Haaland's goal was no tapping. I have stated European greats. What have I just sat here and said about Pep and the level that he's at and what he does for this team? I've defended Man City by pushing back against everybody that calls it a farmers league to try and diminish what they have achieved. I said before talking about the foul, this has fuck all to do with City. In fact, it has nothing to do with Arsenal. I'm talking about what the PGMOL told us about decision making. And your reaction is Terry has an anti-City agenda. That stinks, brother. That is an absolutely stink. V, I know he's a fellow City fan. Put him in his place after saying that about me. Sorry, brother. I'm handing it to you.
I don't consume all of your content, Terry, so he could have a point. I don't know. With regards to the agenda, in this instance, Pep, you're wrong. In this instance, Pep Talk, you're wrong with regards to what Terry was saying. He just didn't see all of the angles when he tried to imply this City example and the Arsenal example, and Mo, rightfully so, checked it out and said, hey, look at things differently. But, hey, Terry's pretty consistent.
But this is a great point. This is what it'll come back. You still put it out there, and this is what's really funny. I see this all the time now in the football world. If there's a topic that people don't like, so for instance, this story today about Man United looking to share City's airline.
Yeah, you downplayed it really well. I like how
I didn't downplay it. It happens all the time. It's very normal, and it's not a problem, right? The point is, if it was the other way around, and I brought it up, the same people that are saying, you're brokies, they would be saying, well, what are you fucking bringing it up for? It's normal. You're absolutely right here, Chills, is people don't, City fans, because I brought this incident up, feel like I'm attacking their club because it involves their club. But it's nothing to do with Man City. It's to do with the referees. Nothing to do with them. Because what did I say? Foden shouldn't have been booked. Yeah. It's fine what he did. It's normal. Terry, you can't talk to Pep sexuals. Listen, they're not all like that. They're not all of them are like that. Thank you very much, by the way. I know I'm right on this. And again, it's not that I'm saying it's about Arsenal or City. I'm talking about what Howard Webb said. It's just hilarious. Hilarious. It really, really is. A super chat here says, no, I said that because he's always gets a green screen from some elite living room. Oh, but he literally was. Yeah. No, but this is the point. She didn't know he was moving house, but he was. That's freaky, isn't it? She only thought
Hamza always has this green screen behind him. So when he didn't,
I know what you mean.
But that is
the
freaky.
Comment about your moving house, and he was actually moving.
Someone's house. That's a bit weird, you know. That's actually strange. I like that. Would you classify Scotland as a farmers league? Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would personally. Yeah, I would. Probably.
So hold on, Terry. I got to go back to this whole.
I'm gonna head out, guys. Just
bro.
Yeah. See you guys. See you,
Terry. I got to go back to this. You know, with United looking to share a plane, how you addressed it. The reason why I said you dismissed it and you said it was pretty normal. Let's be honest. If it was the other way around, and United had turned down Manchester City for our players wanted to catch a ride on the private jet, you would have spent more than a couple 2 minutes being like, "Hey, it's normal."
Find me any content I've done about that type of thing ever before.
What do you mean? Find you content? Where you might banter a rival?
No. Find the content from me where I've focused on a nothing story like that about a rival club and spent more than 2 minutes on it. Doesn't exist.
All right, I'll take the challenge.
If you can find it, bring it to me. But I wouldn't have. I'm a bit like this. Like I don't. People say this is policing banter. I don't necessarily think it is. But when it's banter, I like it to hit hard and be good. Sort of going, you wanted to share a plane. When I've just seen so many Instagram posts in the last few years of footballers from different Premier League teams on private planes together, flying off in international breaks or coming back at the same time or going to different awards and things. It's happened before. We'll probably all notice it more now because it's the red car theory. Because this story's gone out to attack Man United, we'll see it. But equally,
footballers sharing a plane on holiday is very different than a club destination for players on assignment.
But the clubs are often paying for this. So what will happen is, depending on what country they play for, there isn't always the budget to fly. Like Brazil might do it, I don't know. But what I was told is they don't fly all their players that are spread around the world in private jets to their location. They offer them commercial flights. But the football clubs come together and say, look, we want to send you on a private plane. There's more leg room, more spacious. You can sleep better. less waiting around time, better for your health, better for your fitness. So the clubs will come together and they will share that cost. There's probably, like in normal things in life, one club will be the one who books it and the others will filter in financially to it. Or maybe they take it in turns. And, okay, Fulham get it this time and then City get it the time after. Yeah. That's what they do. And how do I know this? What was my job before I did all this? I worked in the biggest football finance department of the biggest bank in the country that deals with football finance. And these types of things are relatively normal that went on. So for me, I read this and just thought this is a nothing story. But again, it's Man United and there's a big story about us cost. The irony about us cost cutting is amazing. We've been laughed at for losing money and overspending for 17 years. We start cost cutting and then we're laughed at for being brokies. And it's like, so this is how I know there's hate. This is what I mean when I call out, like the refereeing decision earlier. I do it for all clubs. I did it for City on the same stream. I'm not going to sit there and in one hand talk about how good Arsenal are or say how good Liverpool are this season, but then go, oh yeah, it's also a Farmers League because City are the only team winning it. That's talking out of both sides of your mouths. I can't sit here as a Man United fan and allow, in terms of for it to go without challenge. Like I can't stop people doing things, of course. People saying you guys are idiots for overspending and you waste so much money and you lose so much money. And then when we start operating in a more frugal way, a more thrifty way, you guys are brokies. Why don't you go and spend and lose loads of money again? I'm not going to sit there and just let it go unchallenged. That's what I would say to it.
No, it's like, well, it's kind of like what Sir Ratcliffe has done with Sir Alex Ferguson with regards to cutting costs.
Well, I agree with it. I mean, in fairness, I said this I said this on a stream on the Full-Time Devils about 10 years, maybe quite not, about 10 years ago, when it came out that he was getting paid like £4 or £5 million a year. My reaction was, why? He's worth like 60, 70, 80 million. I said, what? I personally said, I think we should be asking him to do that ambassadorial role for free. I'll tell you why. Because there's only a limited amount of money the club can pay anybody. There's a limited amount of money, right? We all know that. I would rather pay money to ex-players that played for us in an era where they didn't become millionaires. And they're now, because a lot of the amount of Man United and City players, by the way, from the 50s, 60s, 70s, who have had to sell cup winners medals, sell shirts, sell England caps just to be able to make ends meet. That is where I'd rather see my club's money go, to helping those people. I love Sir Alex. I've got so much respect for him. But somebody worth that amount of money, I would rather not pay them any more money. I'd rather it go to other people connected to my football. I'd rather it go to charities. I'd rather it go to the local community than pay a man that's already exceedingly wealthy even more money, no matter who it is.
I hear it. I think it might be different if you guys were at a point of success, but he gets dragged along. He gets dragged on to many events because of obviously his image.
I get that. Can I ask you a question? Let's just say in 10 years' time, Pep retires and City want to offer him £5 million a year to be an ambassador. Would you rather that £5 million a year goes to him, or would you rather it go to your players from the 80s and 90s who are struggling financially?
Terry, when you present it that way in terms of people struggling financially, yes, I would want the money to go to helping people struggling financially. However, I don't believe that the cost cutting with regards to Sir Alex Ferguson from Ineos and Sir Ratcliffe is now going into the hands of those players or managers that are struggling.
Okay, but I'm asking you that question based on where I would rather, talking about my original point, where I'd rather it go. However, I would also rather it go to that £3 million, £4 million, £5 million a year be spent on recruiting young talent into the academy. I'd rather right now that money be pumped into the women's game at Man United, which gets far less money than the men's team do. So there's so many other areas that I would like to see that money pumped into than paying an exceedingly wealthy man money. It doesn't have any decision-making power at Man United. He's an ambassador and he's already agreed. This is the irony, right? He's agreed to do the same role for free because he loves the club. So you needn't pay him. It's crazy that everyone's making it out to be a big bad thing.
I mean, it's good PR for him to say he'd still do it for free. However, he signed that contract he signed that agreement because he wanted the money. And everybody in the chat, everybody would agree. If you're taking from the wealthy to also help those less fortunate, of course you would do it. I happen to believe that taking the money away from Sir Alex Ferguson does not go back to the women's game, does not go back to the youth scouting. So it's just a matter of...
So where's it going then? Where are they putting that money? All the cost-cutting things Man United have done, where do you think Ineos are putting that money?
Have they declared it yet?
But where do you think they're going to put it?
No, well, how your owners have moved in their pockets.
So you think Ineos are just going to take the money and put it into their own pockets?
Or they may go into improving your stands or whatever it may be, but I don't think the money's been designated yet. It's like we're cutting costs.
Okay, but you're saying that you don't think it's going to be put into the women's game, youth, buying players. Where do you think they'll put it?
To be completely honest, I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know. I could never answer that.
So you don't know if it's going to a good area or a bad area.
You and I don't know this. We know that they cut costs.
So therefore, if you have no idea where it's going, good, bad, or indifferent, why would you criticize the cost cutting if you don't know where it's going yet?
Because with regards to cost cutting, Sir Alex Ferguson, and here's where the multiplier effect is. And because you mentioned Pep, I think if Pep is under contract or any great is under contract to make appearances, that appearance is also because there's certain influential people around to be able to be amongst them, right? You're paying to also have access to be around these experiences. So yes, Sir Alex Ferguson's going to do it for free, great. But he was doing it in the past because it also elevated experiences for CEOs or whoever were going into these boxes, getting whatever tour, hugging Sir Alex Ferguson. I think there's a ripple effect. We'll see. We'll see what Ineos do. But it was funny to see Sir Alex Ferguson get quote unquote the sack before your man Ten Hag.
There we go. Look, I want to thank. Actually, I've got a few super here. Can you even name 5 players from the 80s and 90s challenge? I mean, if you want me to, very, very simple. Even Clayton Blackmore, we can throw in there from the 80s. There's what's his name? He owns a fish and chip shop that's around the corner. I love this guy. I nearly said Rory McIlroy. That isn't his name. Who else we got from the 80s that I used to really like? Because again, these players are old. Obviously, got Robson, who's a great example. Lou Macari was the guy that I was thinking about. That was his name. Really good striker for us. Did very, very well indeed. And then you go into the 90s, and obviously it's very easy because I was a little bit older then to obviously remember the class of 92. But you can do the players that came before that. Obviously the Steve Bruces and the Gary Pallisters, the Paul Parkers of this world. So yeah, loads. Since you've mentioned it, Veltman took the free kick about 3 feet from the original position. You could be right. I know. Again, I actually don't think either should have been yellow cards. The point I'm making is that every single thing they said to defend the right decision, the opposite has happened in this one. What I would, again, if I was going to make good TV, if I was working for Sky, I'd now be getting those 2 examples, showing them to Howard Webb and go, explain the difference. That would make compelling TV. They won't, though, because they're in bed with them. I'll challenge you then, Terry. Find me an example where it is normal. Just don't waffle and show it. Well, I can't be out there showing you internal receipts that were paid for via a bank that I worked for. But what we'll do over the course of time, it's a good challenge, is when we start seeing more and more of these posts come from players where they're sharing these facilities for club events or sort of, not really club events, because the Ballon d'Or is not a club event. It's like an individual event or going to international duty. As and when these pictures get posted, we'll just kind of share them. It's going to get very tedious and boring, though. I will let that in, but there we go. Look, I want to thank everybody that has tuned in. Don't be pedantic, Terry. The Premier League is a farmers' league. I know that it's not a farmers' league. Look, I want to thank everyone who was tuned in. Congratulations to City today for their win and going top. We're back tomorrow with more content for you. Big match.